On why a judge decided to resentence a man to spend the rest of his life in prison. WAAY 31's Alex Torres-Perez was at the virtual hearing today. She shows us the reasoning behind the judge's decision and what the family had to say about it.
You're always thinking about it. It's in the back of your mind.
Candy Cheatham is the daughter of Cole Cannon. He was murdered by two teenagers at his home in 2003. On Tuesday, one of the murderers appeared virtually from the St. Clair Correctional Facility for his resentencing hearing.
It brings all that back.
Evan Miller had the chance for parole after his case went to the U.S. Supreme Court in 2012. The court made a landmark decision allowing all juveniles who were sentenced to life in prison without parole to be resentenced.
It feels like not ending.
Judge Mark Craig was not the original judge on the case, so he took his time looking over all of the evidence and transcripts in the trial. He took into consideration several aspects like Miller's abuse as a child, a case Judge Craig says was one of the most extreme neglect cases he had ever heard of. He also looked at Miller's use of drugs and mental health history, which included 2 suicide attempts as early as the age of 5. He reread the testimony of the adolescent psychiatrist on how all of that impacted Miller's mind. But in the end, Judge Craig ruled Miller would continue to serve his life in prison without the possibility of parole.
It feels like justice is preserved, and it's just relief. It's a huge burden lifted.
The judge explained Miller was the principal aggressor in the beating and murder of Cole Cannon. He described Miller's actions as cold, cruel, and almost fictional after he read Miller told Cannon, quote, "I am God, I've come to take your life," before beating him near death with a baseball bat. Judge Craig says Miller not only knew what he was doing, but had the intent to kill after Miller returned to the trailer, heard Cannon plead for his life, then left after setting the trailer on fire. He says Miller's actions are worthy of the strongest condemnation, and if he were an adult when he committed the crime, life without parole would have been merciful. The family says Miller has never expressed any kind of remorse.
Evan has just never, throughout all these years, given any ounce of sincere apology or remorse. You cannot make someone be sorry for what they've done. He can be forgiven for murdering my dad, but he would have to ask God for forgiveness there. That's his only hope.
Alex Torres-Perez, WAAY 31 News.
Miller could appeal the judge's decision, but it's unclear if that will happen. A second man was convicted in the murder of Cole Cannon. Colby Smith was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole. He was just denied parole last year. Smith will be up for parole again in 5 years, which is the longest amount of time to set up another parole hearing.